You're up, Commissioner.
So we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. There's no changes to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So first item on the agenda is invoices and Commissioners' report. On this check. Is that what we're supposed to sign? It's kind of...
Yes. And I'll need 2 commission signatures. And what that is, we had, Ambulance District received a grant for,
Noxalone?
thank you, training.
Naloxone.
And the money went into, we have to put it into the grant. Well, then we have to turn around and figure out how to reimburse the ambulance district, whether it be through the contract or if it involves them the need to open the budget, then we will write the check to the city. But this was all last year, so it was absorbed within the budget, so we're reimbursing the ambulance district for that time.
Okay.
So.
And then I had a conversation about the Commissioner's report, fair maintenance and man hours for fair 2022 with down East Swan Lake Highway District. And what they do is use them to haul garbage and to water the arena and stuff. I think we can actually come up with a better way to do that than through them. We're paying them $25, $26 an hour.
Is that something that you're comfortable with communicating, and you want me to make it known?
We'll have a conversation with them.
Okay.
They already talked with Piney. That's how
Okay.
they found out the information.
Okay,
Sent
good.
me an email, so it was just something that was interesting to me.
And then those tarps were a part of that tarp machine fire?
Okay, and that's the
So
only 2 that I had questions.
there should be an insurance claim, I would assume, on those tarps. So I asked Aubrey to let me know if that wasn't part of the original reimbursement. I know we got reimbursed on the machine because we've replaced that machine. It's the Tarpomatic machine or something like that. She'll let me know if we're going to get additional reimbursement on the tarps.
The Tarpomatic machine.
I'm saying that's what it's called. It's kind of weird, but,
That makes me laugh.
and how easy is that, right?
Right.
Tarpomatic.
Okay. Motion on that?
Sure. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the claims and the check request as presented.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next we have salary rate approval forms. And on this you'll see that I crossed out and then okayed a title.
Okay. Which title?
We were educated.
Deputy.
Oh, okay. The ones that, the last minute push throughs?
Yeah, I took it differently than I
What
just
it
wanted
was?
to make sure that the responsibilities were clear.
Got it, okay, got it. Yeah, all attorney positions are deputy prosecuting attorneys, deputy public defenders, that kind of thing. But it's not
Braden informed
chief
me.
deputy.
Braden informed me, and so I said, okay, I'll uncross that line and we can leave it in there, and I okayed it and so it looks kind of messy.
Well, it looked a little messy also because they added the word criminal. So that'll be it.
Well, Braden says, do you want me to get that so it doesn't look so messy? And I said, no, we're not going to everybody and get signatures again. We need to okay that today.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the liquor licenses and the salary rate approval forms as presented.
We have motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go into our work session. Scott?
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Crowder, Director and Business Manager.
I'm Nikki, I guess Nikki Ennis now, and I am the 4-H educator for Bannock County.
So, the 4-H is housed up on the complex up there, and they use the facilities at different times for different things. And we're still kind of working out exactly how that works, because we both have the ability to come and talk to the commission about issues or about things that we need. And so we're just trying to work out the best route to go about getting buildings reserved and fees waived. And so this is a request for an event that occurred last week, or actually on October 5th, for the use of Building B for the 4-H recognition night. And so I'm requesting the fees for that be waived, even though it's already been used. And part of the reason it was used, or it was going about this process, is just my process of getting the paperwork and then getting the application, getting it in. We just did not have the time to get it done before the building needed to be used. Which does lead to a little bit bigger discussion about 4-H fees and the processes that we need to go through. And Nikki can talk a little bit about that, so.
I guess our question is, we're looking to use, I know what we need to use, I guess, throughout the year. We've got the 4-H arena for the horse club. They use that every year for the summer, and we've also used Building B for archery. And we're looking to try and do archery during this fall and throughout the winter so that we have a place to meet indoors. But then every year we have our recognition night. It's not necessarily always in Building B. We try to rotate throughout the county so that we can hopefully get, just so that's in different locations. But I guess I'm just wondering is there a way that we can work on something to either waive those fees for the dates that I know, like we know every year this is what's going to be happening, or is there something we can work with that, or?
I'd just assume you come before us every time.
Okay.
The only ones that can waive fees are the commissioners.
Yeah.
And honestly, on this one, I've been invited to this thing usually, and I usually attend. I didn't know nothing about it.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
So that's a good reason to come in here and have a conversation.
Yeah.
But the commissioners kind of get a black eye once in a while with the fair and stuff, and we try to support, and if we don't know anything about it, we can't do it.
And we appreciate your support greatly. Like, and I apologize. I don't know. I don't know what happened,
but we have so many groups that want waived fees that I just, you know us, come and talk to us.
Yeah, and that's fine too. I guess I was just trying to think of, like, if we know what the dates were. I just thought I'd ask, but.
Well, and there will be different commissioners at different times. So I wouldn't take that responsibility onto us, but somebody else may have later. So I feel, Commissioner Huff.
Part of it, we're just paying ourselves where we have to support the program, so I'm back and forth, but it's not a hill I'm wanting to die on, so I'll support Commissioner Moser on that and want you to come in and talk to us every time.
Well, just like, there's so many other groups. And I hate for somebody to say, well, they okayed that, so we can do whatever we want.
No, I appreciate that. I understand what you're saying.
And we'll try to be efficient with our kind of grouping like items. So like the arena rentals, we'll say, here are the days, this is for the arena rentals. And like the archery stuff, we'll say, here are the days for the archery stuff. And then we'll bring a contract that specifically speaks to that.
And if you bring multiple ones at one time, that's fine.
Okay.
But
We'll
just to give you a blanket,
Yeah.
I don't want to throw a blanket over the whole thing.
I'm good
Oh,
with that.
that's fine. Yeah. No, I
Okay.
So,
appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the fee waiver request for the 4-H dinner as presented.
There's a motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Shanda. Everything okay?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes,
Okay.
I think it was a dramatic 5-year-old.
That's important.
Because I go get there, she takes my hand, she goes like, let's go. And I'm like, this doesn't feel sick. But thank you. I have a few items before the board today. The first one on the contract use form for the snow cutting edges. That one has been delayed. There's some additional steps and information that we need to get before the board. Before I'd like to discuss that, I was hoping it would be in line and had been here a couple days ago. There's just been some delays there. So we're still working towards piggybacking off a contract on that one. There's just some more documentation that we need to get before the board to review. So. And they do have some blades enough to start. If the snow came tomorrow, we'd have enough to start, but we do want to get in line and get additional ones coming here, just never knowing what the Idaho winter is going to do.
Won't be here till Sunday.
That's good to know. Sunday. I'm kind of hoping for more a December kind of, thing, but we'll see. The second item I have is a recommendation to award the winter road salt bid. This one is more of an urgent situation. As you might recall, originally we piggyback off the state contract. The vendor was unwilling to allow us to do this time, so we did go out to bid for this one. We did receive 2 bids for the winter road salt this year, and Kyle has reviewed and determined that the low bid in this case is capable of doing what we need them to do and delivering as needed. So I would recommend that the board award this bid for winter road salt to Specialty Construction Supply. I do have letters prepared if the commissioners would like to accept that recommendation.
I'm okay with that. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve and award the bid to Specialty Construction Supply for the winter road salt as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Right, the next item I have before the board is a contract use form for the mooring trailer for the corner. This one is, we are looking to piggyback off of a state of Idaho contract through a supplier called Paladin. This is a company that is known for the morgue trailer itself, the enclosed with the generator and all the items that we need. It is also one that Bingham County is it Bingham or Bonneville that has
Bingham.
Bingham. And I use them as well. So they are a well-known supplier in the arena for the morgue trailer. Tori Danner would recommend moving forward with this. It has been through legal for review, and they do concur that we are able to piggyback off that state contract. And just if the commissioners have any questions or concern.
No, I'm good.
This is 100%, $75,000 covers everything on this trailer.
I believe so.
Okay, there was just a lot of other information there behind it.
Yeah, because the original price listed on here is like 140, but they're giving to us for 75.
So the 140 is off of the website.
Correct.
So this is the GSA one that we haven't, no, this is State of Idaho. Sorry, I'm trying to think, but they told me how and why the one that they screenshotted to us is different. Did they include, though, their quote? I thought I had a quote on there that listed the 17-foot enclosed with the generator and delivered for 75.
It's I mean, like I said, there was just a lot of other information in the packet that
Right. So on the state,
wonder
there we
as we
go.
were signing.
So on that state contract, Paladin has been awarded for multiple things, right? We are just getting that one trailer.
Okay.
Yes, but that is why, because that 140 threw me off too.
Okay.
But yes, they've been awarded multiple items. The one that we are getting is quoted for the $75,000, which is what the outside agency
Well, that clarifies it a little better.
All right, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the purchase of the morgue trailer with the contract as presented up to $75,000.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 The next item I have is a draft of the aerial imagery services requested by GIS. This is another one of those items that is the first time for Bannock County to go out for a request for proposals for this. Heather has worked closely with us to work out the scope of work based on a lot of what some of the other counties do surrounding us as well.
There she is.
Oh, good. You are fine. We just started your item, so.
Oh, perfect. The drive from Chubbuck's a little,
Longer than you think.
yeah. You get stuck at that light at the overchange, you're there, that's all you got.
You are there, yep.
Right. We do have quite a good calendar set forth. There's not a real rush because it's something we knew and anticipated going forward. So we do allow for a lot of time for the suppliers to be able to ask questions of Bannock County, for us to be able to respond, to be able to fit that perfect window when the leaves are on the trees, but not
Just starting to bud out, but no snow on the ground.
No
So
snow.
not full leaf, but no snow, which is always iffy. So
So if you know a day for that, if the snow's going to come on
if
Sunday.
you can order that and let us know.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Just tell me.
All right, cool.
A little closer to time.
Send us a memo.
And Heather's also done a great job of pulling in a team of cross-section members that'll be able to look at that from different angles once we get those proposals back in. So that's a fantastic job, and she's worked out the scoring as well. So we are all set unless there are questions or concerns on the aerial imagery.
Do you have an idea of how many proposals you may get?
I expect at least 2.
Okay.
I've had 2 people contact me. We've got our current supplier, Eagle View, who will definitely put in something. And there's another group that I believe is the one that, like the cities of Chubbuck and Pocatello we're looking at, that we're also very interested. I fully expect them to submit a proposal as well. At least those 2.
Okay.
So.
I was just curious if there would be a large interest in that or not, so.
If we got more than 4 or 5, I would be very, very surprised. 2 or 4 is kind of what I'm expecting.
Okay, great. Okay, and you're happy with where this is at and where it's going?
Yeah, seems to be going along pretty well, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve and authorize the bid going out as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cool. I slipped in right on time.
Perfect.
Anything else for me then, or you guys?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much. Alrighty, the next item before the board is a request for a signature regarding the sole source purchase of the power cut for the ambulance department. This is the publication notice that we need to do. And then we'll wait 14 business days, see if there's any challenges to this sole source, and we'll bring it back to the board at that time.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the sole source purchase as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The last item I have is a general update on procurement. 3 of these items that we have on here, we've just gone over, so I won't talk about those. If I'll skip down to the detention center roof, the last time we met, I did mention that there were some hiccups in creating the scope of work for that project. We do believe we've worked those out with group architecture, and then remaining ones will be as we do an on-site visit at the jail to look at the roof. They'll be able to actually see and then maybe spark a question that either us or the architect hasn't thought to address yet, and we'll be able to address at that time. There is a possibility, and Levi, the architect, and now the commissioners will be aware that we might need to cut into and look at samplings of what we did to the roof exactly, so they know basic, removal or what they might need to put down in order to put on the new roof. But we're going to leave that as a contingency still of a maybe. I'm not going to jump in and do that if we don't have to. We will know more about that at the pre-bid meeting on whether or not that's going to be required. And that would be the subject matter experts there, the suppliers if requested, the architect if they would confirm that yes, additional information that could be beneficial. And moving forward in that course, we may need to do that, but we're still leaving that as a maybe up until we know that we need to cut a hole. But we do anticipate that the bid document should be before the board in a couple weeks to at least move forward again with that next step. At the pre-bid meeting, right, then we'll need to decide whether or not we need to cut had potentially a few patches there or not. If we skip down to the safety and assessment, building subcontractors, those bids were opened last week, and the Headwaters is busily digging through 81 different proposals, trying to figure out, right, if they have everything required of them or not. We met just before this meeting, and the initial look at the proposal is that we are over our estimated budget. That was anticipated by all groups, that we would need to workshop and decide how to fit this in. That is being value engineered from all sides, right? The architect is on board looking at if there's ways that we can, if we are asking for the top of the line unit and we can deal with a mid-grade unit, right? They're going to look and send it back to Civil to look at if there's some things that we can save there. Dan Kendall's on it looking at if there's ways that the county can adjust or change things. They did throw out, initially we had asked for road and bridge, and then we said, no, we need to do this without them. They are back to putting that on the table. I wanted to mention that. If that is an absolute no, right, we'll step away and move forward. They are looking at roughly about a $200,000 bill that Road and Bridge might be able to assist with, but I know that would need to be a further conversation. I just wanted to update that has been originally when we asked about it and we said no, and they're looking at, because of the dollar amount, they're looking at least asking us if that's...
We can use down this one lake.
Hey, there we go.
I'm willing to have that conversation.
We need to see what that work is, because we may have to pay Road and Bridge though.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not in the scope of,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it would not be a $200,000 savings by any means, right? There'd be materials and labor and stuff, just that we might be able to do it. Like Dan Kendall, right? We use his services when appropriate. It might be something that we look at that could save us some money there. But.
So what's the overage? What are we looking at? Do you have any numbers?
So they do hesitate. I will do general, right? Because they're still looking and confirming that some people may or may not have their public works license. That matters. That is a make or break deal, right? If you don't have it, you're out and we move to the next one. So I do hesitate. We are estimating roughly $500,000 over budget, which is not good.
Okay.
That is why we have all sides looking at potential solutions. They are on your agenda for next Tuesday to come in and talk about. At that point, they're looking at talking about a guaranteed maximum price. Chances are that conversation will be longer than anticipated, especially if there are things that there are some easier things that we can adjust and change, but those easy things are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Those do add up, but it's going to take a lot of them. That's why they're looking, that's why they asked about Road and Bridge and the $200,000, right? That would take us about halfway in between. However, right, that is scheduling and adjusting in a new direction that we have had to shift and adjust several times in this project. I wanted to bring it before the board as something to consider. If it was a no, we are not, I could take that back to the team.
Sounds to me like the state needs to divvy up a little more money. They got lots of it.
So that is also an avenue that they are looking down.
Okay,
So-
we'll have that conversation.
Okay, perfect. The last one I have for the commissioners today is the concealed weapons detection. Just reporting back to that group that we put together, the commissioners asked for Braden and Carrie, Adam, the sheriff asked for Kathleen Ballard, and who am I missing? There's 5 of them. There's 5 individuals. I will apologize to number 5, but I've forgotten who it is. They have the information that they are looking and reviewing, and they were interesting schedules to try to align. They have settled on November the 2nd to get together as a team to decide on a course of action to present before the commission. Okay. So I would anticipate that mid-November sometime that would come back before the board with a recommendation. If there's anything particular that you wanted to make sure that team reviewed, if you want to reach out to me and just let me know, I'll make sure that they consider and look at an area or a prototype, or I don't even know what, but if there was something particular, I'd be more than happy to have that team review. All right?
Well, I heard rumor that legal looked into it and the safeguarding of the courthouse is under the direction of the commissioners.
Yeah, it's, well, they're,
Can open.
So with the ABJ, I mean, their responsibilities can also come from the Supreme Court, and there was an order that we found too, that they also have a role in helping implement policies along with the elected officials, so like a team.
We like working together.
I'm glad we have the ADJ that we currently have.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
No.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.